Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us John Vuong, who's the owner and founder of Local SEO Search. John, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you for having me, Mike. I'm excited to share some insights to your audience members today.
Hey, I love when I bring a guest on and I say the name of their company, for instance, or their expert title. And I love when it's so crystal clear because Local SEO Search is I know exactly what you do. And I was thinking as I was saying this, I was like, okay, well, what's an example of a company that you would go, wow, I don't even know what that means. And the company name Vivint, V-I-V-I-N-T, comes to mind, and I don't even know why it popped in my mind, and there's nothing wrong with that company, but I don't even know what they do, but that's an example of, okay, that's great to have a cool little name that has some interesting meaning, but then you got to educate your people on that. But Local SEO Search, got it, dialed in. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you do to help your clients, but give us a little bit of background on yourself professionally. What led you to start and found this company?
Yeah, definitely. So back in 2013, that's when I started this agency. And before that, I actually went to school for business finance, but my first job outside of school was in sales, and I was doing advertising sales. And I did that for about 10 years. And that's where I found what I really wanted to do with my next career move. So doing advertising sales, I dabbled in traditional advertising as well as online affiliate. And then I dabbled into directory advertising where I worked at Yellow Pages for 5 years. And that's how I transitioned to what I'm doing today. So 8 years ago, I started this company because there was a gap in the marketplace where my Yellow Pages type client was frustrated not knowing where their customers, users, or people that used to navigate and find them on Yellow Pages, directory, print, and online were going, and what were they consuming and how were they finding them today. So with technology, with search engines, with social, there's so many other options today, and I wanted to be their go-to trusted source to help them become more visible online and dominate their niche.
It's funny you mentioned Yellow Pages because, my kids are 16 to 22, and if they were in the room, I would say, back in the olden days, there was this really big, thick yellow book that you would flip through and look for. You wouldn't go to your phone and say, hey, Google, tell me the phone number for. And, of course, as I just said that, my phone just turned on because it thinks I'm trying to search for something. But I interviewed someone that made a really interesting comment, and he goes, you know what, marketing has changed so much over the years because when we used to advertise in the Yellow Pages, we would do our marketing plan in one day. We would sit down with the Yellow Pages rep. We would spruce up or create a brand new full-page ad. We would say, see you later, here's the check, goodbye. That was our marketing plan, and we would take the calls that came from that and do nothing else. And as we both know, that now has gone away, and now you can't even do a one-day marketing plan using digital because things change so much. So let's talk a little bit about now how the power of local SEO. And I will ask you, but my impression of the difference between SEO and local SEO is like best dentists. Or dentist pricing. That's a really broad keyword, and if you try to rank for dentist, that's really competitive. But if you try to rank for best dentist in Denver, Colorado, well, it's still going to be competitive, but way less competitive. So let's talk about how you focus on the local SEO.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the reference because a lot of people don't understand the difference between Yellow Pages and Google, but there's a lot of synergy behind that. The companies that existed prior to Google and the internet was traditional ways to market themselves. There were trade shows, magazines, brochures, billboards, radio, television, product placement. Those were it, right? Now today, with the advent of the internet and technology, now you get email funnels, you get landing pages funnels, social media, retargeting ads, you get influence marketing, you get all these other forms of advertising and paid ads and also organic ads. So how and why I started this company was Yellow Pages was really focused on delivering a really good free directory to every single household, home, business, apartment building. When people are ready to go to a restaurant or they're going to check out a dentist or home contractor, they're going to probably pick up that phone book to vet and make phone calls. But they were so close to the buying decision that they were near the phase of just price shopping for the last 3 vendors to see which one they want to work with. Fast forward to today, with Google, it kind of is very similar because there's options to pay at the top of Google. Now there's the map portion, which is more localized if you're on the go on a mobile or desktop, but you localize it with a city or a community term. And then below that is also organic. And what we focus on is making business owners appear on the first page, but non-paid. So below the paid ads on the map and below. And what we do is very similar to what Yellow Pages did, was be present when people are actively seeking your product and service out at the time of decision. Because as you know, if customers are seeking out a product or service, they're typing in a question or a query on Google. Their intent is to find something fast, or they're really close to that decision, right? As opposed to going to social media. Social media plays a different role in people's lives where it's more community focused. I'm checking out what my friends have done in different parts of the world. I'm seeing what the community has said lately, right, that I'm a part of. I go to LinkedIn for a different purpose. Google still plays a role where if you're ready to buy, you're probably looking for a whole list of potential businesses to choose from. And you're in control as opposed to paid ads on social, retargeted ads, because they're interrupting you just like how radio was, newspapers were, flyers were, right? So Google still plays a very vital role in terms of the whole realm of how people seek out businesses today. And a lot of people forget that, and they get swayed by, wow, people grown their business through Facebook ads or Instagram ads or LinkedIn ads. But if you really take a step back and realize say 70% of the people, 80% of the people are still looking for you on Google, where do you want to invest your dollars? Where should you be playing?
Now, here's something that I would say to that, because you're exactly right. I agree. People will be, let's say that they hear of your company or your business, or let's say they need your service. They may be seeing it on their social media like, oh, that your friend liked this page, or they gave a review on this company, and oh, let me check. You know what? I need to have my whatever plumbing updated or whatever the case is. So they're going to just kind of scroll through just out of curiosity casually on social. But when they're ready to make a buying decision, guess what they do? They Google that company and they see what Google says about them. So for instance, they're going to go best, local, whatever city you're in, dentist or plumber or whatever you're looking for. And they're going to then see the competition. They're going to see you. They're going to see reviews. And I would say to you that, or I would ask you, don't you advise your client that when you're starting to focus on your Google positioning, you need to make sure that it's not only your website that shows up well there, but it's your reputation? Because what if you have your website positioned well on the maps, but then here's 72 horrible reviews? It doesn't matter how good your position, you've got a bad reputation, and that kills your positioning.
Yeah, totally. Reputation is one of the signals of over 200 signals to rank a website. And if you look at how traditional businesses operated And I always reference back to Yellow Pages because I lived it back in the day. How did those businesses survive without technology, like without the internet? What did they do so well to stay afloat for years, decades, generations? They took care of their customers. They really understood how they fit in the competitive landscape, in the marketplace, how they wanted to differentiate themselves from everyone else. They understood how to take care of the customers, service them well, price them well, quality, all these things that really people forget about when they go into this digital space. And I look at like business owners today versus 20 years ago. Business owners who started 20 years ago understood how to run a business. Today, they don't really understand what it takes to run a business. So they forget and they want to hack the system. They want fast ways to be on the first page or grow their business because they saw a social post or an Instagram post saying, I can make $100,000 in a month or in a week. But in reality, as a business, you understand what it takes to build a business, to run a decent size as well as scale, to get customers that are loyal, to pay for your product and service. That takes a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes, and years of learning. But people are impatient today because of real-time instant messaging, real-time feeds, right? It takes time to learn and, realize, like even for Google's position, right? You need to understand real businesses take time to establish themselves on search. It takes time to start appearing on organic because Google wants to provide the best search results for the users. And why would they start ranking a website that's brand new or someone new in business when there's way more established ones in the marketplace to actually know how to service a client, that actually knows what they're doing in terms of a business? So there's a lot of synergies, but people forget that. Yes. And I want to just advise people, like, if you're in business, there's a lot of noise out there. Learn how to run a really good business and everything else will follow.
I love that you said noise because you have a competitor or 1,000, right? I mean, you're not the only one in your local area doing this. So everyone does, a lot of people do this. So you have to cut through the noise. So I would wrap up with this question: what sets your firm apart when a business that does, that needs local SEO and Google visibility? Why should they pick you? What are you doing, and what is your expertise that really makes your company shine?
I think just like everyone else, right, there are pros and cons. There's story behind it. There are understanding who you service and your experience. At early days, I was taking on every single client, not knowing who was a good, ideal client of mine. As I improved and learned from making a lot of poor decisions, growing pains as an organization, I discovered what my sweet spot is, who I really want to resonate and want to serve, who is my ideal type of client. So, for me, it's more about experience, someone that lived it, worked with thousands of business owners, understood their pain points, understood what it takes to become a success business. Success doesn't happen overnight. It takes years, decades to happen. So for me, it's like living. It's like as a parent, right? You don't know what you're doing when your son is or daughter is 3 months or 6 months, but you're going to learn, figure it out. Yeah. But when they become teenagers, now you can say, I've, lived it. I know what it takes, and I know what it means to be a parent. Right,
because they've been through some hurdles. It reminds me of the Farmers Insurance commercial that runs pretty frequently. That pretty much their tagline is, "We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two." And they're going, "We've seen this kind of claim, we covered it. We've seen this happen, we've covered it." Well, same with what you're saying here. We know some hurdles and tips and tricks and optimizations that you just downloading a checklist and trying to do it on your own as a business, you're never going to get the level of expertise that you have because you've seen it, lived it, and really implemented it with good results for clients.
Exactly. And then I'm going to also reference two different industries. So say you're in the mindset of you're looking and seeking out a real estate agent. And if you're in the purchasing decision of buying or selling a home, are you going to go with a rookie real estate agent or someone with 20 years experience? You're going to pay them the same amount, right? Commission-wise, right? So, what, as a gut, as yourself, would you take on that new rookie real estate agent or someone that has way more experience with hundreds of transactions, knowing what you're looking for, knowing the market inside out, the trends? They've lived it, they've seen it, they know, the nuances of what is expected. It's the same thing with any trades. If you look at a plumber, someone straight out of school that has no experience versus someone that has been doing it for 20 years, they can be in and out in 20 minutes versus someone that's brand new. They're going to play around, spend 4 or 5 hours trying to figure it out. Very similar to yourself. You can go on YouTube, figure it out yourself because you have no experience. But if you work with someone that knows what they're doing with a proven track record, that have success with industries that you are in, why not give them a shot? Because it'll shrink time for you. And they probably have a really good system or process, and they know the nuances, the challenges, what really triggers success. That's what I mean by vetting businesses, understanding what are the gaps, understanding the competitive landscape. There's so much more to learn as a business owner than just starting, right? You're going to make so many mistakes over the years, but enjoy the process.
Yeah, I really think that's a big piece of advice, and normally you don't hear SEO agencies talking like that. They're normally fast talking and vague, so I love your approach to business. So if there is a business owner, local business, brick and mortar that goes, we need to get this for our business, what's the best way that they could reach out and connect with your company, John?
Yeah, definitely. Relationships are everything for me. So for me, you can check out our website, www.localseosearch.ca. We are based in Canada, but we service clients all over North America, UK, and Australia. And we also have a podcast to educate others. We're here all about helping. We're trying to equip business owners with as many sources, tools, and knowledge, right? Because the more information and knowledge you have to make the right decision, then you're going to be better off because you feel you're going to, do the right thing for your success, for your organization. So that podcast is called Local SEO Today. And it's just for fun, right? Like for me, it's all about just helping others, giving more to others, and then equipping them with tools, resources, so that they make an informed decision. So what I'm looking for here is just to spread the word. There's great SEO companies out there. There's horrible ones as well. Make sure you ask the right questions, work with people that resonate with your values, and then do your own due diligence. Check out their reputation, reviews, case studies, call around, because it is an investment of your business. Very similar to if you were to hire a real estate agent or a contractor. You want to make sure it's the right choice for you.
Excellent. Well, John, thank you so much for that. I'll make sure that your link to your website is right in the show notes. So thank you for coming on today. It was really great talking with you.
Thanks a lot for having me, Mike.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.